from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, Joe Nuxall and yours truly, Marty Brenneman, welcoming you to Reds baseball. Final game of the two-game set against Joe Frazier's Mets tonight, and a couple of left-handers going, Freddie Norman against John Matlack. For Cincinnati, Pete Rose will lead off and play third base. Hitting second in right field, Ken Griffey. Joe Morgan will play second and bat third. The cleanup batter, left fielder George Foster. Johnny Bench doing the catching will hit fifth. Batting sixth and playing first base, Tony Perez. Davey Concepcion at shortstop will bat seventh. In the eighth spot, in center field, Cesar Geronimo. And hitting ninth and pitching is left-hander Fred Norman. Again, going over the Reds batting order, it's Rose at third, Griffey in right field, and Morgan at second base. Foster in left. Bench catching, Perez at first base. With Concepcion at shortstop, Geronimo in center field, and Norman pitching. Joe, a couple of left-handers going tonight, and I guess if we have one consoling influence before we start play is that there is no way we would think John Matlack could pitch a better game than Jerry Koosman did.
I'd have to say it'd be very difficult because Jerry certainly did crank up a gem last night. Of course, Matlack is capable of pitching the same ball game. He can't take it away, but Freddie Norman also is capable of pitching a good ball game similar to Koosman. So, if both of them are right, we could see another excellent and well-pitched ball game.
We're ready to go as Pepe Mangual leads it off. He chops one out in front of the mound. Up with the ball, Norman barehanded, throwing him out to Tony Perez at first base, and this game is underway. So with one pitch, Norman has recorded an out, and he'll go to work on the Mets second baseman Felix Millan. It was a dandy last night. The Mets scored 2 in the first. We got the home run from Rose in the bottom of the inning, and that was the extent of the scoring as the Mets won behind Koosman 2-1. Norman, after his 8th victory, he's lost but twice and has a fine .289 earned run average. He's facing Millan, who steps in at .259 with a homer and 14 runs batted in. Here's a pitch to the plate, swung on a bouncing ball by the mound. Concepcion gobbles it up and throws him out. 2 away. Left fielder John Milner will be the 2-out batter here. Well, we need a win tonight to remain 6 up in front of the Dodgers. They moved 2 within 6 last night with a 3-2 victory behind Doug Rowell of the Cardinals, and they won this afternoon in 10, 7-6. Perez, Morgan, Concepcion, and Rose make up the Reds' infield defensively. Foster, Geronimo, Griffey left, center, and right, and Bench behind the plate. Norman trying to knock him off 1, 2, 3 in the first inning. Left-hander looking back into Johnny Bench for the sign. And he comes to the plate with a 2-2 offering. That is strike 3 call, a fastball that cut the inside corner, and the side is out. The Mets are down 1, 2, 3, and after a half inning of baseball, New York nothing, and the Reds are coming to bat. It'll be Pete Rose to start it off as usual. He opened the game with a bang last night with an opposite field home run on Koosman's first pitch, his 7th of the year. Here's Matlack's pitch to him, and Rose bounces one over the head of Steger, fielded by Harrelson, and will not even attempt to throw. Infield hit by Rose on a high chop over the head of third baseman Roy Steger. Harrelson came up in the hole at shortstop, but he elected to hang on to the ball.
So maybe this will mean we'll get a few Savoy State scores tonight.
We need it to gain a split in this 2-game series, and with Rose at first base, here's Ken Griffey returning to the lineup after a 2-game absence. Kenny hitting .330. Griffey second in the National League in runs scored behind the man who is at first base right now, Pete Rose. Rose has tallied 80 runs, and Griffey has crossed the plate a total of 70 times. It's quite a 1-2 combination when you have him hitting first and second in your lineup. Griffey with a fly ball hit into left center field. Milner and Mangual both going into the gap, and that ball is going to be caught by Pepe Mangual as he and Milner crisscross in deep left center field. 1 away in the inning for Joe Morgan. .317 batting average for the Reds second baseman. 17 homers and third in the league in RBIs with 69. And that infield double play depth. Morgan grounds one to Torrey. Torrey deals to Harrelson. Harrelson's return throw, and not in time with Matlack covering to get the double play on Joe Morgan. They force Rose 3-6 at second base. And the inning continues for left fielder George Foster. George batting .325. George with those 74 RBIs, needing only 4 more to match his major league high of 78 of last year. There goes Morgan. The pitch taken, the throw down to second base, not nearly in time. It glances off of the out glove, goes into shallow right center, and now Morgan gets a hole sign as he rounds third base. Well, we almost had a shot Morgan. His 26th of the year and a throwing error against Jerry Grody. Swing and a miss. Foster strikes out swinging and the side retired. The Reds, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error with 1 left. And after 1 complete, the Reds and the Mets, no score. Matlack ready with a 2-2 pitch to Griffey, and here it is. Ground ball by the mound, base hit in the center field. Well, that might be an indication of good things to come in this 4th inning as Griffey opens up with a hard ground ball single to center. Joe Morgan is 0 for 1. He reached on a fielder's choice in the 1st inning. Oh, we'll have to see if Griffey's going to be running. Matlack. There goes Griffey. Pitch is taken, a strike, and Grody cannot get the ball out of his glove. The second stolen base of the night for the Reds as Griffey comes up with his 23rd. And I'll tell you, as good a pitcher as Matlack is, the one thing you can do on him, if you have any speed at all, is run, because he's very slow coming to the plate. Got that big high kick with the right leg, and already the Reds have burned him twice in the game. Morgan in the 1st, and now Griffey leading off the 4th inning. We got a runner at second base with nobody out. Morgan line drive, base hit right field. Here comes Griffey. He rounds third, and the ball gets away from field. Morgan goes to second, and we lead 1-0. Well, the speed of Ken Griffey set up the run as he stole second and comes in on a single to right field. There's going to be an error charge to Mike Vail and credit Joe Morgan with his 70th RBI of the year. And at the end of 4, Cincinnati 1 and New York 0.
Mountain Dew, a totally different soft drink with the lemony freshness and color of sunshine. Brighten your day with Mountain Dew. Hello, sunshine.
Free a 16-ounce Cincinnati Reds 1975 World Champions commemorative bottle with the purchase of a 6-bottle carton of 32-ounce Pepsi-Cola at participating dealers.
Well, a good scoreboard stumper tonight. The question, the last National League relief pitcher to fan 6 consecutive batters. And you might have guessed for the rest of your life and not come up with the answer to that one. Don Gullett, who struck out 6 straight New York Met hitters in the 2nd game of a doubleheader on the 23rd of August back in 1970. Concepcion is 1 for 1. He singled a right off Matlack in the 2nd inning. The Reds have scored the only run. Griffey opened the 4th inning with a single, stole second, and came in on Morgan's base hit. Joe went to second on the error by Vail, then stole third. Foster bench strikeouts. Perez a ground ball to third. Matlack got tough to leave that potential second run at third base. 1 ball, 1 strike. That is a check swing, slowly hit ground ball to third. Stager up with the ball. Quick throw to first base, not in time. Stager made a good play on the ball. But Davey beat the throw for an infield hit number 5 of the game for Cincinnati.
Marty, that was a fine play by John Stager, and he got an awful lot on the ball. A good throw, I don't know. Been very close.
Interesting, both Matlack and Seaver, the 2 foremost hammers in this Met rotation, both with losing records against Cincinnati lifetime. Matlack is only 3 and 8. Davey 2 for 2. Here's Geronimo. Concepcion has stolen 12 times in 16 attempts. Gotta figure he's going to be going sooner or later. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and lashed him by Harrelson into left field for a hit. Soft line drive. Base hit left field for Cesar Geronimo, and it'll be Freddie Norman up there in a definite sacrificing situation with 2 on and none out. Here's the pitch. Concepcion breaks for third. Here's the bunt back to the mound. Matlack throws on to Millan covering at first base, and Davey was running full bore to third base when Matlack came to the plate with a pitch. Freddie Norman with a 1-4 sacrifice, and bring to the plate leadoff batter Pete Rose. Rose has had an infield hit. He has been thrown out by Millan, and once again, we got a red batter up there against a drawn-in Mets infield. Here comes the pitch to Pete. Swung on and hammered to right field. It's going to be caught by Vail. Here's a tag by Concepcion. Here comes the throw to the plate, well off the low mark. David is in to make it 2-0. Brody going off to the right and well off to the right of home plate to take Mike Vail's throw on Rose's line drive sacrifice fly to right field. Geronimo holds at second as the score mounts to 2-0, and here is Ken Griffey. 1 for 2 with a run scored. Griffey swings, ground ball to first base. There's Torrey throwing to Matlack covering, and they just got the out at first. And that ends the inning. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. Through 5, the Reds over the Mets, 2-0. We go to the top of the 7th inning. Freddie Norman leading it 3-0 as he has fired 1-hit baseball at the Mets to the first 6. We'll be facing Felix Millan to begin this one, and back to call the action for you. Here's Joe.
All right, Marty. Millan has been to the plate twice in the game. Grounded to short, he's grounded to second. Freddie has allowed just 1 hit through 6 innings, that being a triple off the bat of John Milner in the 4th inning with 2 outs. Norman has allowed just 3 balls to be hit out of the infield. A fly ball off the bat of Torrey in the 2nd inning, and then to Staker and Harrelson in the 3rd inning. Since then, nothing has left the infield. All right, Millan steps in, a .259 batting average. Norman into the wind and delivers to Felix Millan outside the ball. Reds leading at 3-0. Bring a run in each of the 4th, 5th, 6th innings off John Matlack. Norman the 1-0. That swung on and hit to left field. And there is George Foster waiting and makes the catch. 1 away, and here's John Milner. Milner was called out on strikes in the first, triple to right in the 4th. The Reds have out-hit the Mets 7-1. New York with a couple of errors did help the Reds in their scoring. Norman delivers, swung on and bounced over the Cincinnati dugout and strikes a fan and back into the Reds dugout. West Coast this afternoon, the Phillies beat the Padres 5-1. Jim Cott the winner, 10-5 now for Philadelphia. Lee Slavin the loser, 6-7. Milner grounds 1 to Morgan. Hustling the bag is Perez. Joe's throw gets him by a step and quickly 2 away. Freddie has now retired 9 straight. He had retired 11 straight until Milner's hit in the 4th inning. Norman has had a 3-ball count on just 2 batters. Joe Torrey to the plate. Joe 0 for 2, a fly ball to right, and he's line to Rose in the 4th. Norman delivers. Torrey takes the fastball high. Freddie looking for his 8th win of the year. He's back to the plate. That swung on and popped into shallow center. Going out Morgan, coming on Geronimo. Morgan calls and makes the catch, and that's it. 10 straight for Freddie Norman. He's signed out in order, and in the middle of the 7th, the Reds 3, the New York Mets nothing.
I'm Conway Twitty, and I'd like to tell you something. This land's been good to me. Oh, it's good to see how some things have stood the test of time. Like folks who love their fellow man, take pride in working with their hands, pride in carrying on the family name. They expect the same. Some things should never change, like the hot cornbread that your mama made, or young folks splashing in a swimming hole, or the satisfaction that you get seeing fields you planted grow, as you end a good day with the great taste of Stroh's beer for more than 200 years. The great taste of Stroh's.
Conway Twitty for the Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Lead it 3-0 as they bat in the bottom half, bidding number 7, Geronimo, Norman, and Rose to face reliever Bob Apodaca. Jack Billingham getting in some throwing down to the Cincinnati bullpen. Geronimo 1 for 2, struck out in the 3rd, single to left in the 5th. Back to the plate, Apodaca. That swung on a very high pop to left field. John Milner moving toward the line now there and waiting and makes the catch for out number 1. 1 down, Freddie Norman to the plate, and boy, he's pitched a fine baseball game tonight. Freddie 0 for 1, struck out in the 3rd and put down the sacrifice bunt in the 5th when the Reds got their second run of the ball game. Norman, a switch hitter, he's hitting left-handed against the right-hander Bob Apodaca. Now wind the pitch. Norman swings and winds into left field, a base hit. Bud Harrelson almost got to it. So Norman gets a base hit from Freddie. That is his 5th hit of the season. Hit number 1 off Apodaca and number 8 for the Reds off New York pitching. Norman at first base with 1 away, and Pete Rose steps in. Rose, 1 for 2. Had an infield single in the 1st inning, grounded to 2nd in the 3rd, and a sacrifice fly in the 5th. Pete's 41st RBI of the year. This is his first time hitting left-handed. Apodaca delivers. It's bounced back to the mound. To Harrelson 1. To Torrey, a double play. Play going 1-6-3. In the inning for Cincinnati, no runs, they hit no errors, nobody left on base. And at the end of 7, the Reds 3, the Mets nothing.
A threat, but that is all. No runs. 2 hits, 2 men left on as Cranepool lines hard to Griffey. And after 7.5 innings, it remains the Reds 3 and the Mets nothing. Before Ken Griffey leads off the home half of the 8th inning, we'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
It's JFPO mornings on WRW Cincinnati. George Foster Poster Day is Sunday, August 1st at Riverfront Stadium. The Reds meet the Padres. Every fan through age 21 gets a free souvenir color poster of the Reds all-star left fielder.
If you're a big souvenir buff, then you want to be at Riverfront on Sunday, August 1st. That's George Foster Poster Day. The Reds meet the Padres in a 2:15 game, and every fan 21 and under will get a free 2-foot by 3-foot poster, full-color action poster of the popular Reds left fielder. Make plans now and get your tickets in advance. That's the Reds and the Padres on Sunday, August 1st. Poster Day featuring George Foster. Griffey has had 1 of our 8 hits. A single in the 4th inning. He scored a run, and he'll be facing a 3rd Met pitcher of the night in right-hander Ken Sanders. A win and a loss, a microscopic 1.61 ERA, and making his 21st appearance. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Griffey, and that is swung on and grounded to the right side and by the diving Felix Millan. Kenny Griffey on with his 2nd hit as he begins the 8th inning. Number 9 for the Reds collectively, and Joe Morgan will be looking for his 3rd. Joe reached on a fielder's choice in the 1st inning, but since then has singled to pick up his 70th RBI and doubled in the 6th inning to lead it off. He scored in that frame and has stolen 3 bases tonight. A fine all-around game for Morgan. We've out-hit him 9-3 and outscored him 3-0. The right-hander Sanders comes set and delivers. Joe bluffs a bunt and takes a pitch high. Griffey throwing a throw from Sanders to first base. Griffey has himself stolen a base in the game. He has wiped a total of 23. Another throw that way. While Morgan's trio gets him 28 on the year. Infield for the Mets looking for the bouncing ball. Sanders a quick throw to first base. 1-0 to count on Morgan with Foster on deck. Here's a pitch. Swung on and grounded foul at first base as Joe goes down in a sitting position. Ball on the strike. Joe has jumped his batting average some 4 points from its .317 mark at the beginning of the game. And And with the RBI tonight, he's only 4 away from league leader and teammate George Foster. Sanders, a slow worker, looking into Grody. 1-1 pitch. Low and inside, 2 balls and a strike. Now Doug Flynn has gone down to get loose. Throw to first again. We'll probably see Flynn go into play second base in the Met 9th inning. Sanders, 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Griffey at first base, and 3-0 Reds in the 8th inning. Morgan takes it off the plate outside, ball 3, and a full count. The right-hander comes set. The pitch, swung on, fly ball, hit the left center field. Mangual, long run as well as Milner, and Milner makes a running catch in left center field. John Milner playing it in left center field to retire Morgan as Griffey comes quickly back into the first base bag. 1 away for George Foster. He struck out twice, and in the 6th inning, bounced out to Steger at third. So there goes a runner. Here's a ground ball to short. It's off Bud Harrelson. He's not going to get anybody. Griffey was breaking on the pitch. Foster hit a routine ground ball to shortstop, and Harrelson coughed it up. That's going to be the 3rd New York error. So Johnny Bench with 2 on and 1 away. 0 for 3 with a ground out, a strikeout, and a pop-out. And Gual, Mian, and Milner are the 3 hitters standing between Norman and a shutout. But the Reds are trying to add some insurance runs in the 8th. So Griffey, the lead runner at second, Foster on at first. A hit and an error get him there, and sandwiched in between a fly ball off the bat of Joe Morgan. Sanders taking a lot of time as he parades around the mound, rubbing up the new baseball. Gets a toe hold in that pitching rubber and looks down to Grody. He checks Griffey at second. He delivers to Bench. Swung on, and a base hit into left center field. Here comes Griffey, rounding third. The throw will go to third base. A run is home. It's 4-0. With a single into left center field to knock in his 47th run. The Reds with a run on 2 hits, a Matt Era, and a man left on. We move to the 9th inning. Cincinnati 4, New York nothing.
There's a feeling around, it's America's sound. Pepsi people feeling free. Free to choose a new way, free to stand up and say, you be you and I'll be me.
Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Cincinnati is pleased to announce the Cincinnati Reds 1975 World Champions commemorative bottle free with the purchase of a 6-bottle carton of 32-ounce Pepsi-Cola. For a limited time, when you purchase a 6-bottle carton of 32-ounce Pepsi-Cola, you receive free a 16-ounce Cincinnati Reds 1975 World Champions commemorative bottle. 5-cent deposit required on each bottle.
Join the Pepsi people.
Get yours today at participating dealers.
We're in the top of the 9th inning. Freddie Norman, who has allowed the New York Mets only 3 hits and no runs through 8 innings of pitching, and was able to weather the storm in the first real threat that the Mets have posed against him tonight. That came in the last inning. When they had hits from Mike Vail and Roy Steger with 1 away, he got Harrelson on a pop, and then against pinch hitter Ed Kranepool, a line drive that Griffey caught in right field to retire the 8th for the Mets and kill off the threat. Top of the order for New York: Pepe Mangual, Felix Mian, and John Milner. This reminder, plan ahead. The Reds will be meeting the Dodgers in September here at Riverfront Stadium. 3 big games, the 14th, 15th, and 16th of September. Purchase your tickets in advance. Norman completing his warm-ups. The throw goes down to Doug Flynn, who now has come on to take over at second base for Joe Morgan. And here's Mangual. Norman had a 1-hitter through 7. That was a 4th inning triple by Milner. He's allowed only 3 hits total in the game. He has 3 balls and no strikes on Mangual. A rare occasion where he's gone a 3-ball count to a Met batter in the game, maybe 4 times total. And there is strike 1 call. Leon swinging the bat in the on-deck circle, and Raleigh Eastwick continues to stay ready in the Cincinnati bullpen. Hopefully he will not be needed. We'd like to see Norman get it in here, a complete gamer. Strike 2 call. Well, Freddie throwing back-to-back bullseyes after getting down in a hurry to Mangual. 3-0. It's now full. And the payoff pitch is on the way to the plate. Here's a base hit left field. Pepe Mangual with a single to left off Norman's 3-2 pitch as Pepe comes up with his first hit in the New York Met uniform. Leon is grounded to short, has bounced out to second, and has lofted a fly ball to Foster in left. 0 for 3. 38,598. You've seen a fine pitching performance by Fred Norman, but not over yet. Leading by 4 runs and a 2-2 count on the Mets second baseman. Runner leading at first base. Here's a fly ball center field. That should be out number 1, and it is. Here's the owner of one of the 4 New York hits, Milner, with a triple to right in the 4th inning. He had a low-line drive that Griffey tried to shoestring. Kenny had no chance at all to catch the ball. As things turned out, skipped beneath his glove, and Milner ended up at third. But Norman then got Torrey on a line out to third base to end the inning. Oh, he has gained the advantage on Milner, a ball, 2 strikes. Strike 3 call. Boy, what a fine screwball right there. Ball broke out over the plate, and Milner, completely handcuffed, could do nothing but watch Dick Stello fire that right hand in the air. Freddie has his 4th strikeout and his 2nd at the expense of Milner, and now Joe Torre will try to keep the Mets alive in the 9th. Torre is flied to right, line to third, and popped to second. Perez playing behind Mangual. They're not concerned about him right now, and that should do it. A high pop in shallow right center. Flynn back. He's waiting, and this one belongs to the Reds. In the 9th inning, the Mets no runs and a hit. Freddie Norman with a masterful 4-hit shutout. As the Reds reign supreme tonight 4-0 and gain a split in the 2-game series. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, we saw an outstanding pitching performance by a left-hander from New York last night, Jerry Kuzma, as he beat the Reds 2-1. And tonight, we saw a man in the red and white double knit of the Cincinnati Reds go Kuzma 1 better. Freddie Norman with his 3rd shutout of the year, picking up his 8th victory as he blanked the New York Mets on 4 hits in a 4-0 final. The Reds got single runs off John Matlack in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings before manager Joe Frazier saw fit to take Matlack out in favor of Bob Apodaca. The Reds added their final run, an unearned run in the 8th inning, off the 3rd New York pitcher of the evening, right-hander Ken Sanders. 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors with 5 left on, the winning Cincinnati numbers, while the Mets had no runs on 4 hits, 3 errors, and 4 left on. Norman wins his 8th game of the year, picks up his 3rd shutout, and the 10th collectively for Cincinnati pitching in 76. While Matlack suffered the loss, his record goes to a still fine 10 wins and 4 defeats. The Reds split the 2-game series and are now 58-35 on the year. An off day coming up tomorrow, and then on to Atlanta to take on the Braves in the beginning of a 4-game series on Friday night. We'll tell you about the starting pitchers in that one when we continue in just a moment. Friday night we'll be at Atlanta Stadium for the first of 4 against Dave Bristol's Western Division Braves, and Santo Alcala will get a crack at becoming the winningest pitcher on the Cincinnati staff. He will be shooting for his 9th win of the year against veteran knuckleballer and right-hander for the Braves, Phil Niekro, who has won 10 and lost 5. That'll be a single game on Friday night. a twin bill on Saturday night, and a Sunday night game to wrap up the four-game series before the Reds return home to take on the San Francisco Giants in the first game of a week-long road homestand that will get underway here on Monday evening. And now on most of these same stations, stay tuned for Joe Nuxhall with the Star of the Game show. And again, the final score, the Reds 4, the New York Mets nothing.
You've just heard another Cincinnati Reds on Radio presentation with Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxhall. Reds baseball has been brought to you by the Stroh Brewery Company, family brewers for more than 200 years. And by Marathon Oil Company, people who make their living doing the best they can. By the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Cincinnati, bottlers of Pepsi-Cola, Dr. Pepper, and Schweppes products. By Frisch's. At breakfast time, lunchtime, or any time you're hungry, there's always a Frisch's nearby. By the First National Bank of Cincinnati, a good place to put your money and your confidence. And by Riverside Ford in Newport, a block and a bridge from downtown Cincinnati. Follow the world champion Cincinnati Reds and tune in next time for the Reds on Radio on this, the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network. Win a night out with the Reds from Cincinnati Cooperative Milk Sales. Send your name and address to Milk is Much More Contest, 1889 Central Parkway, Cincinnati, Ohio. WLW Cincinnati. Now, Star of the Game with Joe Nuxhall. Brought to you by Gabriel Shock Absorbers. No matter what you drive, no matter how you drive, there's a Gabriel Shock for you. Gabriel, king of the road.
We're back in the dugout here at Riverfront Stadium where the Reds have beaten the New York Mets tonight behind Freddie Norman by a score of 4-0. Fred getting his fourth shutout of the year, his eighth win, his fifth complete game, and what a job he did, allowing the Mets to just 4 hits, striking out 4, did not walk a batter. And our star of the game, Freddie Norman. We'll be back with Freddie after this word. Freddie Norman, our star of the game tonight. Freddie, as we said, getting his 8th win of the year, his 4th shutout, and we keep telling you this, Fred. We're very happy to tell you a fine and well-pitched ball game.
Well, Joe, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show, too. I don't know. I guess I had a little more incentive tonight. I was going for my number 30th career win here at Riverfront. I got it, and at least I got 30 wins before Randy Jones did. It only took me 4 years.
Freddie, tonight, a lot of ground balls. Not really customary to your pitching.
Well, no, not really. I get a lot of fly balls, Joe, because of the screw ball. I think he's trying to reach out and get it. But tonight I had a good fastball, and I was throwing it pretty much down around the knee area and away. And I think they were just kind of hitting it right in the ground, and my sliders on occasion were down, and that makes them hit right in the ground. I'd like to have that pretty consistent all the time, but sometimes you can't. And hopefully when you don't have it, you can get it in a better spot.
Freddie, did you feel like you had this kind of game in you tonight warming up?
I sure did, Joe. As soon as I warmed up, it's this time of night. It's very humid out, and when I feel like this, when it's humid, your fingers just feel good. The ball feels good to you. The whole shot. I had a little problem with my arm last week, and it really felt good. Of course, tonight was the type of night that you'd like to be able to throw in, and just pretty much stayed loose all through throughout the game. So I had no problems physically.
Any pitches consistently good for you tonight?
Probably, I would have to say the fastball. I really would. I had thrown some good sliders, but I would think the fastball. I didn't throw too many curveballs. The curveballs I did throw were very effective, so kept them honest anyway if I didn't have a real good screwball, which I didn't. But I thought my fastball was probably my best pitch tonight.
Freddie, I checked with Shep as he walked through the clubhouse to find out how many pitches you made. 111 pitches, which is really a good ball game.
Yeah, it's not really all that bad, 111. Normally when I'm pitching pretty decent consistently, I usually throw about that, about 105 to 120, really, and that's not really that much for me. Hopefully I still have a lot of baseball throws left in me, but it doesn't really bother me that much when if I stay in that area.
Fred, no walks again tonight, and your control really the last, I think, that's your 5th victory in your last 6 outings, if I'm correct, maybe 4th and 5 something, but yet your control has just been, just magnificent.
Well, Joe, it's, I know it, so does everybody that tells me that's the key to my success. I've got to throw strikes, and I proved it, of course, again tonight. If I throw strikes, I'm going to get them out. If I challenge, I'm able to challenge them because I have all these pitches. All I have to do is just throw them over the plate, and just sink into this little tiny head of mine, I'll be all right.
Isn't that funny how difficult it is sometimes?
Sure is. It's amazing.
Freddie Norman, our star of the game tonight. We'll be back with more after this word.
This is the old left-hander for security moving and storage. You may know that the first World Series was played back in 1903, but do you know who the contending teams were? Well, I'll give you a hint. They were the same teams the Cincinnati Reds had to beat to win last year's series. That's right. The first World Series was played between the Red Sox and the Pirates. The Red Sox won it. Well, a lot of things have changed since 1903. The Reds are now world's champions. The next time you're rounding third and heading for a new home, call the Reds fans at Security Moving and Storage.
Freddie Norman, our star of the game tonight, getting his 8th win of the year. And Fred, as we look at the scorebook, really not a real difficult inning for you. Maybe the one inning you would say would be the 8th inning when Bale singled, and then after the strikeout at Grody, Steger singled, and at that particular time, a mild threat by the Mets.
Yeah, I think I thought about it a little bit. I says, well, you know, here I am. I think I was 3 runs up at the time, wasn't I? And I think we got our 4th run in the bottom of the 8th, didn't we? I believe. Okay, so I knew I was 3 runs up. Now I got a little excited, I think, and kind of lost my memory a little bit. You know, saying, hey, wait a second. Now you're going just the opposite way of the way you used to do. You used to get behind and all this stuff. Let's, you know, revert back and start off by throwing a strike. You're up 3-0. You're not behind 3-0. So I just came right back and challenged again, and got out of it, hopefully.
The ball that, the one ball in the inning that had a mild scare to it was the one that Cranepool hit.
Yeah, he hit it real good. It was a slider. Got behind on him 2-0. I thought the second pitch I threw to him was a slider. Just missed, and so I said, well, I'm going to have to throw this for a strike. Whatever I throw, a slider, curve, screwball, fastball, whatever it's going to be, it's got to be a strike. And I kind of just laid the slider right in there, and he hit it pretty good, but it was in the alley. And, of course, Griffey was playing him off the line, so he was able to get to it.
But in pitching the right-handed batters, the Mets, most of them know you. Do you ever get concerned? Do you ever second-guess yourself on a pitch?
I don't think so, Joe. The reason I don't, because I try to keep them honest. I try to come inside more now because I feel I can almost see them. As soon as they stand up to the plate, I can see them leaning. It's unbelievable how you do that. And like maybe on a Don Guller, these guys, no, they're not leaning at all. See, you know, they're expecting, you know, basic fastball pitcher. They're looking on me to be more outside consistently, you know, with the fastball and the screwball. So I think what's kept them honest with me is the fact that I'll throw that slider in on them. They know it now, so they'll kind of stand straight up a little more, and this is what I want. I'll try to establish that.
Freddie, is it kind of amazing to you in the years you've played baseball that one pitch can really make a tremendous difference in an individual?
I really do, Joe. As you know, I used to be a fastball pitcher. I had a fastball, curveball, and straight change. All 3 pitches were good. And again, I come up with a sore arm, so now I've got to get something. You know, I don't have a good fastball, and you know, the curveball was very adequate. When you have a sore arm, you don't have much of anything, really. And I fought that off for a year, and I came back pretty strong with it. I started throwing pretty good again, and but I was a better pitcher and a smarter pitcher. And so what happens is later on, I didn't come up with a slider until a few years ago. This, of course, sore arm bit was in '68, so it's been a while. And all of a sudden, now I come up with a slider, and that's just it's been the whole effect of my, I think, consistency now. It's been the slider.
But in coming up with a slider, Fred, would you say that it really had, well, I say you had not very good consistency with it until maybe the end of last year and this year?
Probably so, because I think I started throwing that in middle of 72, like in July. And that pitch to me is just like the screwball. It takes a lot of work and effort to really work on it. So I think I'm just starting to really come around with it.
When you think about the slider and starting off, was it a problem of breaking too big or not enough?
At first it was breaking too big because I thought that you had to really slurve it, in other words. And Roger Craig, of course, now with the Padres, when I was there, had taught me the slider. What it's called basically really is a cut fastball. And what you do is you're concentrating as you're coming through fastball until you get right out where your release point is, and then you pull it down with that middle finger. And this is what causes that little break about 4 to 6 inches. And that's all you need. And it just looks like a fastball. And then right at that last moment there, it breaks into the guy and it'll jam him very easily. And this is what it's really is. If it breaks too much, it's almost like a curveball. It's really not that effective.
How about the speed of it?
The speed of it, I throw sometimes harder than my fastball on occasions. But normally it's basically about like a fastball, really, with a short cut on it.
All right, one more further thing, and got to talk about it. I don't even have to ask you. Go ahead and answer the question without me answering.
Oh, man, I hit a shot, did I? No. It was, I'll tell you what, I'm glad Matlack still went to the game because I'd have been to the right side. As you know, I'm sure he wished there was 9 Fred Normans in the line, I believe. But, well, I was able to turn around, and I just hit the ball to left field. It was just right there, and just got the bat on the ball.
All right, Fred, really, though, and talking about the bat, in the 5th inning when we got our second run, he did put on a good bunt.
Well, the ball was right back at the pitcher, but our guys were running, so it was okay there. The first pitch was, I think it was a curveball. I don't think it was a slider. It was a curveball. It was down, and I just missed it. I bunted it, and it just went foul. Of course, on that left field side there, it kind of tends to roll off, so you got to, put it out just a little more towards the pitcher's mound. But the second pitch, of course, was a fastball right there, and I just tried to bunt it fair, because our guys were running, so I got him across.
Yeah, and the first time up, you almost had a base hit. I don't know what kind of spin you had on that ball, but it was 3 feet fair, and then finally trickled foul.
Yeah, that's that old swing and bunt, man. I almost had it. I know as I walked back, I had to stop, take a little breather. I was kind of really trotting out there.
Well, Freddie, we certainly congratulate you on your 8th win of the year, your 4th shutout, and a very well-pitched baseball game.
Okay, Nux, thanks.
All right. Freddie Norman, our star of the game tonight. Freddie with his 8th victory of the year, his 5th complete game, and his 4th shutout as the Reds beat the Mets 4-0. That's it from here in the dugout, now on most of these same stations. Stay tuned for Marty Brenneman, who scores and comments. Tomorrow, an off day for the Reds, and we'll move on to Atlanta and open a 4-game series with the Atlanta Braves at Atlanta Stadium. Until then, this is the old left-hander rounding third and heading for home. Good night, everyone.
You've just heard Star of the Game with Joe Nuxall, brought to you by Admiral, Roper, and Speed Queen, leaders in home appliances and electronics.
Well, left-hander Freddie Norman was at his absolute best at Riverfront Stadium tonight as he fired off a 4-hit shutout at the New York Mets, the Reds winning at 4-0. Norman, the 3rd shutout that he can call solely his own this season. He also collaborated in one along with left-hander Will McInerney. It was Norman against Matlack, and you had to figure with both pitchers having their good stuff, it was going to be a pitcher's duel, and it was exactly that for 3 innings before the Reds broke the scoreless deadlock by scoring the first of their 4 runs in the 4th inning. Ken Griffey led off with a single to center field, stole second, and came home on Joe Morgan's single to right as Joe picked up his 70th RBI, and the Reds led it 1-0. It was a 2-0 game in the 5th inning when Concepcion beat out a slow roller to third. Geronimo then followed with a base hit to left, and after Norman laid down the sacrifice, Rose hit a line drive out to Mike Vail in right field, with Concepcion scoring to make it 2-0 Cincinnati. In the 6th inning, there was a double to begin it by Morgan, who then stole third and came home on a John Matlack wild pitch. When Matlack later on in the inning issued another wild pitch, he was lifted in favor of Bob Apodaca. The Reds rounded out the scoring off right-hander Ken Sanders in the 8th on a Griffey single, a one-out error off the bat of George Foster, an error on the boot by shortstop Bud Harrelson, and a run-scoring single to left center field by Johnny Bench as he picked up his 47th run batted in, and the Reds led it 4-0. Norman had a 1-hit shutout going to the 8th inning. That 1 hit was a 4th inning triple by John Milner. And in the 8th inning, it was a single by Vail, a 1-out single by Steger. But then the left-hander got tough as he retired Harrelson on a pop to Concepcion and got pinch hitter Ed Cranepool on a line drive to Ken Griffey in right field. In the 9th inning, there was a leadoff single by Pepe Mangual, but beyond fly to center, Milner looked at a 3rd strike, and the game ended when Joe Torre popped out to Doug Flynn at second base. The totals in the game, 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors, and 5 left for Cincinnati. The Mets had no runs on 4 hits. They committed 3 errors at field and left 4 men on. Norman wins his 8th game in 10 decisions, and Matlack started and lost it for the Mets. His record goes to 10-4, and he is now career against the Reds, 3 wins and 9 losses. The Reds maintained their 6-game edge over the LA Dodgers by virtue of the victory, and once again go 23 over 500 with a record of 58 wins and 35 losses. An off date tomorrow, and then we'll be in Atlanta Stadium on Friday night for the first of that 4-game weekend series. It'll be Santo Alcala, an 8-game winner for the Reds, and for the Atlanta Braves, it'll be knuckleballer and 10-game winner Phil Niekro. Once again, the final score tonight in a game that took 2 hours and 16 minutes to play before a crowd of 38,598. The Reds with Norman 4, the New York Mets nothing. Until Friday night, for Joe Nuxall, this is Marty Brenneman saying so long, everybody.
This has been Scores and Comments with Marty Brenneman. Brought to you by Amco Transmissions, #1 in Reds country.
Hey, everybody do the Cincinnati Shuffle, 'cause we'll be back again on Reds Radio. We hope to see you then. Saying goodbye to Marty and Joe and the Cincinnati Reds on your radio. Do the shuffle, Cincinnati Shuffle. 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 Saying goodbye to Marty and Joe and the Cincinnati Reds on your radio. Keep on shuffling the Reds radio.
In any sport, the winning team is the team with a winning combination, a combination of dedication and talent, like our Reds. In sports reporting, the winning team is the Enquirer Sports Section, selected the best 2 years running by the Ohio Associated Press Writers Association. Get the facts from the best in the business every morning in the Enquirer Sports. Subscribe now. Call 651-4500. Follow your sports team with the winning team in sports in the Enquirer Sports Section.
You've just heard another radio presentation of the world champion Cincinnati Reds. Be sure to join us again for both the game broadcast and our special pre- and post-game programs, all of which are produced solely by the broadcast department of the Cincinnati Reds Incorporated. Jim Winters, director.